Messages of condolence continue to pour in for the Mosunkuthu family. Khabisi Mosunkuthu, the former senior ANC official in Gauteng, died on Christmas Eve at the age of 69. Mosunkuthu served as an MEC for community safety, for public transport, roads and works, and for the Department of Agriculture, Conservation and Environment. For more information on this story, we cross live to the SABC reporter Ntlantla Kgatlane, who is at the home of the late ANC official and former MEC in the Gauteng Provincial Government, Khabisi Mosunkuthu. Ntlantla, thank you for joining us. What can you tell us? What's been happening?
Well, good day to you in studio. Talking to you right here from the family's house, and just to talk to us a little bit more with regards to what the province plans for the funeral next week. We know that earlier we reported that the funeral was supposed to be this week, but today we know that the funeral has been postponed to next week. But just to talk to us a little bit more on that is the acting premier, and Panyaza Lesufi, with regards to preparations for the funeral. Lesufi, thank you so much for joining us. Just talk to us with regards to the province plan to honor and send off this giant.
Thank you so much. We are truly devastated, to be quite frank. It's a painful period to the ANC family and our alliance partners, but most importantly to government. I think it's within that context that we felt that as government we need to give him a befitting funeral. We've already established a funeral committee led by the Speaker of the Legislature, Ntombi Mkhwe, and we've got structures of this area that are assisting with those funeral arrangements. As we earlier alluded, the funeral will be definitely next year. And the team is working on the appropriate date that will suit all of us. We are at the tail end of finalizing so that we can declare it a provincial official funeral. You know, that's an arena that is left to the presidency to finalize and make that announcement, but we've put all the necessary paperwork so that we can assist those that have to take the decision to take that decision. We really believe he really deserves that kind of a funeral, that kind of a stature, because his contribution, firstly when he was still within the trade union movements, the underground structures of the African National Congress, as a member of the People's Army, and as a key member of the UDF, and also those that established the provincial government that we have now, and the structures of the ANC in our province. So if you take his role across, as I said, the civic movement, the armed struggle, the trade union movement, and the post-liberation commitments, he truly deserves a funeral that will be befitting, and we are quite happy that as government we're putting all those logistical arrangements in place.
Talking about the ANC in the province, we know that he loved the ANC, even the wife said it inside. With regards to the ANC, any plans yet?
Yes, the ANC is working very hard with its own structures. We think we are going to have a memorial service later this week. We are also going to encourage our branches to carry the mandate of ensuring that everything is appropriately organized. And then we mobilize people across the structures that he worked with, and ensure that we give him that befitting funeral.
One question before I let you go. When you were talking, Mama inside, he told you, she told you rather what happened when you took him to hospital, and talking about, that the provincial government has been lashed with regards to the health issue here, and saying that even though she has forgiven, but something bad happened that time. Your reaction to this as the leadership of the province?
Well, that's an indictment to government. We need to avoid that people must get medical assistance in our institution purely because they're people of good standing in society, that ordinary people can't be treated well. That you need to have this title for you to be given necessary attention, necessary support. I'm glad that the family acknowledged that the hospital is providing good service. It was an individual, and therefore that individual is forgiven by the family. But we were touched, and that's the reason why we acted immediately. With the assistance of our Premier, Honorable David Makura, we released the team to rectify that situation. But as I said, it's an indictment if we have to rectify it purely because somebody senior is affected. Ordinary South Africans need to be given ordinary services in our hospitals, in our institutions and in government offices. So we really believe that it's a lesson that we need to learn from and ensure that we remedy it as quickly as possible.
Just before I let you go, let me just squeeze in the last one. We're talking about a person that you probably have worked with here, and inside, they spoke highly of him. Can you just talk to us with regards to, this person?
Ethical leadership, commitment to service, a servant of our people, and somebody who's a no-nonsense taker. When we had problems in the taxi industry, you just mentioned the name Khabisi Mosunkuthu. The taxi industry will sort themselves out, because if you arrive, they know the situation will be out of control, and it will bring order and stability. So I worked with him when I was growing in the ANC. I worked with him when I was in the structures of the UDF. And one thing that summarizes everything that is done is ethical leadership, leadership that you can rely on, and leadership that is not influenced by any other thing. And we used to visit him in prison, and it is the time that was in prison that we knew he have got leaders. When we shouted, "Free our leaders," one of that leader was Khabisi Mosunkuthu, and the reason why we wanted him, because we knew with him around, everything will be done, and will be done well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Well, there you go, studio. Acting Premier there talking to us about, preparations for the funeral, saying that the funeral is going to be early next year, but this week the ANC will definitely hold a memorial service just to honor him. And he spoke also on, what transpired when he was taken to hospital and he couldn't receive help, and, saying that, it's a shameful act and it shouldn't happen again. And, for them, they were glad that, the widow inside, managed to forgive them. With that being said, it's back to you in studio.
Thank you very much indeed for that update. Our reporter Ntlantla Kgatlane at the home of the late MEC Khabisi Mosunkuthu.